Carolina Panthers play on Monday. It is a Monday night football game on the West Coast playing against San Fran. Christian McCaffrey will be involved in that contest. It's actually, yesterday we did a whole theme show, so we're not doing the whole theme today, but it could be reunions, relationships, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because Nikolai Ehlers going back up against the Jets in Winnipeg or the Canes. Christian McCaffrey going back up against the Panthers. Like there's these kind of, I don't even know. Speaking of good relationships, I don't know if I'd describe either of those as a revenge game.
No,
like both kind of seemed cordial-ish. Christian McCaffrey's done a lot of talking this week about the whirlwind of the trade week, and it happened on a Thursday night, so he didn't get to say goodbye to his teammates and everything. And he liked his time in Carolina, but he's happy that he's been out in San Fran and all of these other opportunities. I don't know if there's bad blood as much as like an appreciation for what was.
Yeah.
With both Ehlers and the Jets and with McCaffrey and the Niners, but that might even be more confusing to deal with.
How so?
Like if somebody goes full James Harden and like tanks your team internally trying to force a trade, and then you play against them a couple years later, it's like everybody is very much on just the level with what it like. We want to destroy that person. We don't like them. We feel like they cost us something.
Yeah, hate that guy.
When Christian McCaffrey like does his best for the Panthers and a front office that is no longer here traded him away for too little, it's kind of like, no, I still like that guy, right? Like I want to beat him, but I like him. He did what he could for us. It's like more conflicting emotions than just that guy's the worst. I want to beat him by 100. If he comes over the middle, we're taking his head off. Like it's a different beast there.
And McCaffrey brought it every single day.
Exactly.
Like he did.
So it's like, I mean, we still want to win, but and not even to mention, there's not a ton of guys that he played with left.
It's very few.
They've turned the roster over, which happens when you get new coaches and new front office and everything. But it's only the names It's Derrick Brown, J.C. Horn, like we're very young. His kind of right at the end there. It's Taylor Moton.
Ike
Ekwonu was very young.
Yeah, he was a rookie when that happened. I think Brady Christensen was on the team.
So
he's hurt right now.
More role player-y guys.
Austin Corbett,
J.J. Jansen,
Chuba Hubbard.
Chuba Hubbard,
yeah,
is probably the one that has like, they're in the same running back room. They probably have a unique relationship. But
that's it.
But man, my point is, it's not the same as you saw Cooper Kupp for Seattle playing against the Rams this year, and it's like. That's more, he knew everybody there, and he probably feels a little replaced by Devontae Adams. Like, Christian McCaffrey also dealt with watching the Panthers struggle after he left, which every athlete will tell you feels a little good.
You miss me, huh?
Oh, look at that. Your running and passing games are struggling without me. Maybe you should have had the guy that could do both. So anyway, there's that going on. I also, looking at Monday Night Football, right? And this is obviously like the real look-ahead stuff, right? Monday, tune into the show. We'll be much more dialed in with matchups and who's healthy and who's not, and all of that. But I want to talk to the Panther fans because we talk about Bryce Young a ton. Everybody does, and you can't help but get into the debates about, is he the guy moving forward? Is he the future of the quarterback position? Should you extend him the long-term contract? Should you pick up the 5th-year option? Was the one game an aberration? Right, all of those debates we have had, we will have, we'll continue to have. There's also a new coach, right? Dave Canales, for all that he is with the Panthers, he is a second-year head coach. He is learning, right? I've made the point a few times that, like every time we give Bryce Young the like, oh, he's young, he's going to make mistakes excuse. There's also as many of those for Dave Canales, right? He wasn't calling timeouts. He wasn't running the special teams decisions and wasn't overlooking a defense until last year. And this year is obviously, hopefully, an improvement, and I think it has been. But if you're looking for who he can be, right? If we're doing the comps thing, right? When we're talking NFL draft, what do? Nobody is nobody's just a player who's like, we evaluate them for what they are. He reminds me a bit of Dan Fouts with the running of It's always something ridiculous with like Tyler Thigpen's mobility, right? We have to Frankenstein these players together.
Mm-hmm.
If I'm looking for a Dave Canales high-end comp, football specific, I think Kyle Shanahan is that, right? If you're looking for a high-end, what he could be coach, it's kind of Kyle Shanahan. And if we were to Frankenstein somebody together, it's like Kyle Shanahan with the temperament and optimism of Pete Carroll. Like rather than the gruff, sarcastic, gosh, why did you ask me that dumb question feeling of Kyle Shanahan? You get the, I'm so glad you asked me that question. I would love to tell you more about how much I love football of Pete Carroll. But from a football perspective, what is Kyle Shanahan known for? His bona fides. He gets the most out of his offensive skill positions.
Oh, yeah. Get the most out of any quarterback playing for him, too.
The quarterback doesn't have to be a super alien athlete.
Yeah.
That's where I'm looking at Dave Canales and saying, your high-end comp is Shanahan. Brock Purdy is not height, weight, speed, impressive, right? Like I don't know if he was the guy doing the windmill dunks at his high school dunk contest. You know what I mean? Bryce Young is not height, weight, speed, measurables, an unbelievable athlete. Yeah, Kyle Shanahan was probably a Brock Purdy injury away from having that team in the Super Bowl, right? Remember, actually, ironically, Christian McCaffrey ended up playing some quarterback in that game.
Yeah.
And then he was handing it off one-handed and doing all this weird stuff because Brock Purdy got hurt. Kyle Shanahan did make it to a Super Bowl with Jimmy Garoppolo. Again, not the height, weight, speed. It's not Lamar Jackson. It's not Josh Allen. It's not the highlight guys. They just scheme open their players in a way that makes their offense dynamic without the super dynamic quarterback. That's what you have to do if you're Dave Canales. You have to take Bryce and say, we're going to get the most out of Tepper McMillan, the most out of Rico Dowdle, the most out of the players you have, and you don't have to have Bryce Young being Josh Allen, right? You don't have, and Josh Allen's a bad example because he did not have a good game last night. But I'm talking Josh Allen, the MVP of last year.
Yeah.
Or Lamar Jackson, the MVP of the year before. Like, he doesn't have to be that when your offensive coach is so schemed up and so in tune and so cutting edge. You want a guy that just makes good decisions, executes the offense, gets you in and out of bad situations and everything else. So, like, I'm looking at this game and saying all eyes are going to be on Monday Night Football because they always are. There is a bit of, I believe, hopefully one day the Panthers can be what's on the other sideline from an extended standpoint. I'm not saying you look up to them like, some JV looking up to the varsity like, oh, boy, it's so cool just to see him play. But if you look at what the Niners have been the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years, they're pretty consistently playoff team.
Mm-hmm.
They're in a Super Bowl window that kind of opens and closes, year in and year out. They've had some weird down years. But I think that's where the Panthers want to get. And if you're going to have success with Bryce Young, you need Dave Canales to be that level of a play caller because he's never going to be the guy that, breaks records as a running quarterback or is throwing it into windows the size of a mailbox 50 yards downfield.
Question is, though, with Canales is that how long do you take or do you give him to get to even somewhere near that level? Because let's not forget that Kyle Shanahan was an offensive coordinator in several spots before becoming a head coach. Dave Canales called plays for 1 year before becoming a head coach.
And that's probably the same flaw with like draft comps.
Yeah.
Right? You look at Ty Simpson, who's played like 9 games with Alabama. And that's all the film we have. And we're going to comp him to, Kirk Cousins with more mobility. And it's like, well, Kirk Cousins, he didn't even start as a rookie, right? And,
no, it took him a couple years to get
he
there.
Developed and he wasn't established. And then he was you like that. Like, Ty Simpson might take some time and Canales might as well. Here's the thing. And here's a lesson for athletes and coaches and politicians out there. You don't have to answer the question asked. You can say whatever you want. You ask me, how long is it going to take? My answer is, if you think he's eventually going to be Kyle Shanahan, you wait as long as it takes. Like, I think he's one of those level coaches. And if you have to eat some like weird 4th down decisions, or you have to eat some weird, like, I thought that was going to be schemed open, but instead we just, went 3 and out on 3 incompletions when we had to, run the clock would have made sense. If you have to eat some of that to eventually have a Kyle Shanahan level play caller running your team, I think you eat that because it's that much of an advantage, especially because he's your head coach and you don't anticipate him leaving. There's nothing more frustrating for me as an NFL fan, or as I play fantasy. If one of my guys are on a team, to see an offensive coordinator just click with a team where the quarterback understands him, he's getting the most out of his players, and then he goes and takes a head coaching job somewhere else, and I'm like, no. Basically, what the Lions are going through right now. Right, Ben Johnson was awesome. Now he's the head coach somewhere else, and it's like, goodness gracious, that won't happen with Dave Canales. Right, he's a head coach. If things are going well, if things are improving, he ain't going anywhere. So if you have one of those ones, I think you let it rock. Which, by the way, that fourth down attempts comment there was not random. This stat surprised the heck out of me. This is just a fun fact for Panther fans out there.
All right.
Right now, the Panthers lead the league in 4th down conversion attempts. They have gone for it, left their offense on the field, showed confidence in the group. More, just quantity, than anyone else in the NFL. 27 4th down attempts this season. What have they played? 11 games?
11 games.
So you're right. I mean, you're over 2 a game.
Yeah. 2 and change.
Giants 2nd and 25th. Jaguars 23rd. Lions also 23rd, so they're tied there. Chiefs, Colts, Browns 21. But the Panthers are the most aggressive team on 4th down this year.
And we've seen the Panthers go for it even like first quarter. Like, hey, we're at the 47-yard line. It's 4th and 1. Go for it.
And that could be motivated by a bunch of different things. It could be they just so happen to get a lot of 4th and half a yards, and you're obviously more likely to go for it on 4th and super short than 4th and 9. Could be because they were so run heavy. 3 runs is probably more likely to leave you in a 2nd and short, or a 4th and short, than 3 passes, right? Because 3 passes could leave you incomplete, or you pick up the first quicker. Or how about this? Dime store therapist. How many times did we scream about you have to show confidence in Bryce Young? You have to show confidence in Bryce Young, which I think in play calling, it's not like front of mind, right? You're just trying to call the play that you think is going to work, which is where I think the lack of confidence was shown up until this last week. But 4th down going for it is very much like, no, I said before the game, I'm going to show confidence in Bryce. It's like more yes, no than it is like shades of gray. Like all those little 4th and 4s that he completed to Hunter Renfrow or Bryson Tremaine or whoever it was, those could have been conscious. I said before the game, I'm going to show confidence in Bryce Young. This is how I do it. And then, the play calls that were all run plays and short passes and nothing downfield were more of his subconscious going, I'm not actually that confident in him. Like his conscious was trying to force himself to be confident when his subconscious wasn't.
I think it's also some of it's a byproduct as well, is that this team has gone on a lot of game-winning field goal drives late in games, so you have to go for it on 4th. So they've been in that situation. But the fact that at 27, I love just the aggressive mindset in general. I was actually thinking about it last night watching the first half of the Thursday night football game. Is that especially if I have a quarterback like Josh Allen or whomever it might be. So if I'm at 2nd and 1. And I'm at my opponent's 43-yard line, I'm already thinking I'm in 4 down territory at 2nd and 1. Because I'm like, that's like a 60-yard field goal. But punting, I might only net 20 yards. I'm already in 4 down mindset at 2nd and 1 at the opponent's 43. So you know what I'm going to do? Play action, deep shot. And I might even throw the ball again on 3rd down because I trust I'm going to pick it up 4th and 1.
Do you know who you sound like?
Who?
And this is a compliment, Greg Olsen. Greg Olsen, who
I respect that.
Who he's done, and you can go find it online. I've listened to it. He's done some really deep dives into basically hating field goals.
I heard the conversation you had with Ryan Russillo about it. Yeah,
hating field goals. He's done it a few different ways. He doesn't like taking the points. Basically, the only field goals he like are like 4th and a mile. So it's 4th and 26, and you're at the 42-yard line, kick it, and game-winning field goals. Other than that, with how far the kickoff is now returned or taken out on touchbacks, 3 points, but almost putting your opponent in the edge of field goal territory by giving them the ball back is kind of a net, 1 point gain on the big scale. Meanwhile, a touchdown is obviously worth more. So I do think you'll start seeing less and less field goals, but more and more high leverage field goals and more Brandon Aubrey field goals where you're kicking it 7,000 miles.
That helps.